Welcome back, viewers. This is our episode number 25, and today we are
Yes.
discussing about the new off-roading beast in the market, that is Jimny. Is it worth the hype? And we will be comparing it against another favorite of ours, which is Mahindra Thar. So, Anmol,
Yes.
I'll let you begin. I'll let you begin because you were about to buy the car.
Yeah.
So, and why
We were
why
about
you
to
didn't
buy.
go for that car? Yes, why you didn't go for that car? Why
Let's
you?
come to that later
Okay,
on in the episode.
what you bought, we'll discuss that later. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's. I mean, but the point is, you didn't buy that car. So
Yeah. We did. I
let's
didn't
come
buy
back.
that car.
Okay.
For
Is
see the
Jimny
simple,
worth?
it's
eh,
overpriced.
The nation wants to know: is Jimny worth the hype?
But yeah, we will tell you with data why I didn't go for
Okay.
Jimny when we even pre-booked that car and we
Uh-huh.
cancelled it then once the price was launched. So Ashwin, before coming to that, let's tell our audience about the legacy of Gypsy, how all of this started, and you will be able to tell it better
Oh,
because it
le-
was when you were small.
don't
Gypsy
don't
was
don't get me started. Yeah, don't get me started about either Gypsy or Jeep, but yes, Gypsy, the dream car.
yeah
When I was a kid, yes, Jeep had the presence. Willys Jeep, people driving on off road, that open Jeep with
yeah
the windshield dropped down. It had its own tashan. But those were people of a certain level. Probably they were army officers, or
yeah.
certain uncles there that used to do that.
If you
But
see Ashwin
Gypsy,
till date,
who
army
had a
officers
very
they prefer Gypsy.
Yes, yes, no, but let's coming down to Gypsy. Gypsy was more attached to the youth at that time. I understand why you are saying it is. You see, most of the army officers driving Gypsy because at a certain point of time it was made exclusive only for the defense forces, or actually for the forces. Either you had to be in the police force or in the army to own a Gypsy. So that went against Gypsy, and that was a very sad part. But Gypsy was the vehicle of the youth. I was 1000 cc off-roader. Used to go fast, used to look cool. Everything that a Jeep had to offer, and like amazing, and petrol engine, quiet as well.
Right.
And beautiful. You could just take the top off, topless. Anything looks good in topless.
So like
Yes, and I'll tell you why Gypsy was banned, because Gypsy was banned for the civilians, because during the terrorism in Punjab, the terrorists used to run away in Gypsy, and they used to never get caught at that time. And the police force
oh
used to have their Jeeps, yes, Mahindra Jeeps at that time. So Gypsy used to be fast and used to be light. It used to be open, so it was easy for them to get on it and run away. And that's the very reason it is used for the defense forces as well, for the very same reason. Now coming
hmm,
down to Jimny, Jimny is the fourth generation of Gypsy. So when Jimny was coming
yeah,
in the market, there was a lot of expectations. Like, oh, mera
there was so much
पुत्र
hype
घर आ
that
गया
you will
वापस,
say, oh
like
my
मेरा
god,
क्या घर
what is
वापस
coming in
आया.
the market.
Yes, yes. Especially people
And
like me, we were very excited because we thought Gypsy was making a comeback for the civilians, and
yes,
it was something.
Gypsy
And
as so
Mahindra had
the
already
main
brought.
reason our expectations got high is because we always related that Jimny is the replacement of Gypsy, because they stopped making Gypsy so early and now again it is making a comeback and now we want to buy it because it will be available for civilians. That was one of the reasons I
Right.
even we pre-booked the car. That was the reason.
Correct,
But then
correct.
the
Uh,
expectations were
and
slammed.
actually, if you look at it, Mahindra also played on the same sentiments. When Mahindra brought back Thar, they were in a way bringing back Mahindra Classic, which was there in the late 90s and early 2000s. It was quite popular. It was smaller than Thar, but beautiful. I don't know why it was discontinued. Probably there was no audience for it at that time. But when people had the money, and when Indians started spending on their shock, if I may put it that way, Mahindra brought back Thar, and it made a comeback. And how? Like, it's a beautiful vehicle. It has that 45-degree prime angle. If I go into it, I'll just spend the entire time talking about Thar. So when Jimny was making a comeback as the fourth generation Gypsy, people had the similar kind of expectations from it.
Yes. Main reason was that
Uh,
the thing about Thar.
yes, Thar. If I go into Thar, the description of Thar and my love for that vehicle, I'll spend the entire podcast on it. And
No, we
I
don't
was
have
saying
that much
I
time.
had the similar kind of expectations. Exactly. So I had exactly the same kind of expectations that I had with Jimny, when it was coming. And one thing that made me attracted towards Jimny was, and which was a turn off for me in Thar, was Jimny was a five door,
Hmm.
and
Main reason.
Thar had only two doors. Yeah, two doors. I am a family man. I like, and if I'm not moving around with family, I at least like to have four friends when I'm going for a road
Right.
trip. So Thar is not that great, but of a people carrier. It does not have that much storage, so it's in a way it is a two-seater vehicle with storage at the back.
Right. Right. Totally agree
Jimny,
with
on
you.
the other hand, came. Yes, Jimny, on the other hand, came with five doors. So people had the expectations. Oh, yes, now we'll have. See, we're Indians. We want to carry a family, or we want
हमें
to
चाहिए
be
कम
with at
पैसे
least
में ज्यादा ROI.
ये नहीं ना, हमेशा चार यार तो चाहिए ना यार। जहाँ चार यार वही रात हो गुलजार, है ना? चार यार तो चाहिए। तो पीछे के दो सीट और लाइक, और उसमें चार में हम पांचवा भी ठूसना चाहते ही हैं, राइट?
Right.
एंड उसके देन इट हैड द बूट स्पेस, बट when the vehicle came in the market, I think people still had an idea that it is not as big of a car, but the
Main
biggest
thing
turn-off
was
factor was the price
when
point that
we
it had.
pre-booked initially when it was announced that Jimny is coming making a comeback. So initially pre-bookings were very good. I think as per the data, first month it was 3,000 bookings, second month it was 15,000, then 30,000
And then
pre-bookings,
it was
and then
30,000 people. 30,000,
yes,
yes.
and then the car was launched in Autocar India, and the price was launched. That's where our hearts broke because first of all, in another thing happened here is we started comparing Jimny with Thar. And when you see Jimny and Thar, though they are in the same segment, but again, initially it was Maruti thought that Jimny will make a comeback as Gypsy, fourth generation. But then we
Hmm.
started comparing it with Thar,
Right.
and that's where we thought, why should I pay 13 lakhs for a Jimny which is so small? Because as we know, we are Indians, and for us there are two type of buyers when we go for SUVs. One is आई वॉन्ट टू शो माई प्रेजेंस ऑन द रोड, मैं गेड़ी मारूंगा बढ़िया, लोगों को दिखाऊंगा मैं
Hmm.
ये गाड़ी चलाता हूँ. सेकंड इज मैं ऑफ रोड करूंगा, जो कि बहुत कम ऑडियंस है, मैक्सिमम पीपल. माई फ्रेंड ही ओन्स अ
That's
थार
what
एयर,
I'm
ही
saying.
हैज नेवर
Why
टेकन
didn't
इट
they
ऑफ.
simply bring back? Yeah, why didn't they simply bring back the Gypsy itself?
राइट.
I'm a little biased here. I might be a little biased, but I somehow didn't like the how Jimny actually looks in real life. It's
Yes.
nowhere close to the Gypsy. The old Gypsy still looks better than the Jimny.
Yes, I
And I
agree.
think this is where Thar actually went ahead of Jimny, was it didn't actually entirely change the Jeep look that it had. See,
Right.
even Jeep Wrangler, it still retains that old Willys Jeep look.
There is a
Thar is,
case
I
study
mean,
we
Mahindra
can
has.
talk about this in another episode where I was listening to that.
It will be an entire episode. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. We will talk
The
about this
fight
in
between
another
Jeep
episode
and
for our
Mahindra.
audience.
Yes.
Yes, yes. No,
Yes,
you
we'll
brought
we'll
up a
talk
very
we'll
good
talk about
point.
that separately. But
Yes.
yes, but if you look at it, see, when we are here, we are talking about legacy, right? So when we are talking about when we are, I'm going to buy a Thar. I actually wanted to somehow look like the old Jeeps or the Mahindra Classic that used to be
That round
earlier,
headlight
right?
look with a muscular
Yes,
body.
round headlight, that retro, yeah, muscular body. But when Jimny came, it was nothing like the Gypsy that actually was there before. And old
Yes.
Gypsy was really cool.
I will tell you one
It
thing.
still
When me
looks
and
cool.
my dad booked Jimny and we compare it to Gypsy, so his exact words were, ये तो बच्चा है Gypsy का. मतलब
Bacha
Gypsy
bhi nahi,
still
I mean,
used
it is like I would call it a bastard child. Your dad was kind of decent. I would call it
right.
bastard child of Gypsy.
And the
And
pointers
somehow I
we are
don't like the
telling
name Jimny.
right now to our audience,
Yeah.
there is data proven attached to it. Maruti, first of all, didn't
Right.
announce how many bookings were cancelled. We all, as audience, know how many were cancelled because when you go on Twitter, you go anywhere on the internet, you will always hear people talking about they are cancelling Jimny because of low power, they are cancelling Jimny because of the price point, they are cancelling Jimny because of their old suspension
Actually,
system, and
Anmol, the
there are many factors.
major reason why people cancelled was because of the price point. You
Because
know,
of the price
because
point.
Mahindra played a very cunning game at that point of time. When Jimny was launched, Mahindra launched its 2x4
Right.
version as well of Thar. And which
Mahindra
was priced at 9
understand
lakhs,
us better.
9.9 lakhs. Yes,
Right.
they're Indians, no. And
Yeah.
they brought out the introduced it for 9.9 lakhs, which is,
Right.
I mean, यार मुझे थार मिल गया 4-5 लाख रुपए लेस में क्या चाहिए? What else do I
Exactly.
want?
आपने
And
ऑफ रोड नहीं चलानी, एंड नो
see,
वन इज टेकिंग
ये
दैट
नहीं
कार ऑफ रोड.
चलेगी.
मेनी पीपल दे जस्ट
Tell
टेक
me,
इट.
I mean, put your hand on the heart and you tell me, Anmol, you are going to buy Jimny. Would you have actually taken it on the mountains, on the rocks, and put your life in danger?
नो. आई वुडंट
Would
हैव.
you have been an operator? अच्छा थोड़ा सा गांव में खेत वेत में चला के आ जाता just to feel
हाँ,
good. हाँ
दैट्स
मैंने
ऑल.
ऑफ रोडिंग की. इंडियन रोड्स तो ऐसे ही ऑफ रोडिंग करवा देते हैं. But
एग्जैक्टली.
uh, would you have been a serious off-roader or not?
नो.
What would have been your main purpose of buying Jimny? First thing is the
जस्ट फॉर द
utility
सेक
of
ऑफ
it,
लाइफस्टाइल.
that to get from one point A to point B, right? To carry your family, bring sabji bhaji, or if you're traveling, maybe you'll go on a long ride someday,
राइट.
right? And Mahindra understood this. Okay, 90% of the people who are buying off-road vehicles are not off-roaders. They are buying it just for the sake of the mere
शोइंग ऑफ.
presence of that vehicle. Showing off, yes, it is. Like हमें गेड़ी मारनी है यार. Like this is what we want to do. यार
राइट.
जीप इतनी चमक के रह ही नहीं सकती अगर तुम उसको ऑफ रोड करेंगे तो जो लोग सीरियस ऑफ रोडर्स होते हैं ना वो पुरानी वाली MM44 निकालते हैं, वो उसको मॉडिफाई करा के उसमें सस्पेंशन लगा के उसी को चला देते हैं जंगल में,
राइट.
राइट. वो
And
कमांडर
also,
में लगवा देंगे सस्पेंशन.
talking about a bit of facts and numbers, I was looking on the
Yeah.
internet. So in August, Maruti sold 3104 units of the Jimny, whereas Thar sold around 6000 units. You see, it's
Hmm.
double. And then in July, though Jimny sales were a bit high, they were around 3700 units. But again, Jimny is not able to, Jimny is just, like a hanging fruit on a tree which is going to fall someday, because Thar is, once they brought in
Yeah, I
their
mean,
4x2
you
version.
see why it has happened, no, Anmol. Now we were talking about show off. चलो जिमनी से भी शो ऑफ
Right,
हो जाता है. तो पूछोगे कि क्या खराबी है जिमनी में, इतनी सुंदर तो गाड़ी
right,
है. That's when I tell you दोनों को आजू बाजू खड़ा करके देखो. Like put it right next to each other.
right.
See, when you're buying an SUV, you want a presence. And any guy
Exactly,
who buys an SUV, he'll tell you that my position in the traffic is above everyone. I can look above the traffic. Right.
exactly.
That is your entire purpose. See, एक तो show off होता है, दूसरा है your mere presence and your view, the vantage point that you get in an SUV, which Jimny is not offering. Thar is
Totally.
offering that.
Thar is offering. Thar in
Jimny,
so many cases is
Jimny,
better than Jimny.
can you believe it? Jimny is narrower than Brezza. It is
Yes.
actually narrower than I-10.
Even Santro, even Hyundai Santro.
So imagine like, and if you look at the Jimny's version of Japanese version of Jimny, it is actually classified under K cars. K cars are small cars. So Jimny in Japan is smaller than anywhere Jimny anywhere in the world, and they have
Right,
actually the Indian Jimny is the longest and the tallest of them all.
right,
So the Jimny in US is still smaller than the one in India. So imagine how the very genes of this car is small. So
right.
even if they wanted to expand it, how much would they have expanded it?
Totally, totally. They
Right.
couldn't
So
have
yes.
expanded
So
else.
now coming back to the first point that I made to you, that why I was interested in Jimny and not in Thar, above Thar, was because I heard that it has 5 doors. Now my
Yes,
family can sit in it, right?
exactly.
But like you
The
and I,
car
Anmol, we
is.
are both heavyweights, right? We are both heavyweights. Imagine us sitting at the back. हम दोनों में झगड़ा हो जाएगा यार. I mean, we'll be like
Ah,
pushing each other.
exactly. The
जगह दो
car
ना.
is so narrow, and especially considering
Yeah,
when we as Indians go out, we take a lot of things with us. Where will I keep those?
and Here the point, same point comes when let's go back to our Tata Nano episode,
Right.
right? The very purpose of buying this vehicle is defeated, right? Why Tata Nano didn't sell? Because people wanted car for the very reason of having a car. First is the prestige,
Right.
and then it should solve the purpose of carrying stuff and people, right?
Right.
Same thing. Jimny is not offering you anything. Does not have the presence, but it is charging you more. So it is playing the other, like a bigger game than Nano. Nano is at least slightly cheaper. Jimny is overpriced. So
Right.
when you take a Jimny, someone will say, "Yeah, why did you buy it? Are you an idiot or what? Why would you have to
Exactly.
spend so much?" I mean, it is priced as much as Creta, and Creta is bigger and has a better presence than Jimny.
Exactly.
Right.
Even the
You'll get a
engine
Creta
power
for
is
13 lakhs
better.
plus. Yeah, Creta is 1500 cc plus plus, right?
Yeah.
No, 15,
Jimny
13,
does not offer
oh,
you that
14.
much. Even I was
No,
reading, though Jimny is
and
lightweight,
B2B
it
is.
can give you Jimny is lightweight, it
See,
can give you an edge in
yes,
off-roading.
see, off-roading, right? Then we're talking about the why people, 90% of people are not buying it for the purpose of off-roading. Yes, when it comes to off-roading, Jimny is effective vehicle. So it has the DNA of Gypsy. So Gypsy and like it is doing a great job. It's lightweight, it's compact structure, gives it a lot of advantage when you go for off-roading, but still not that successful as a Thar. Or if you live in the mountains, so a Jimny won't be as successful as a Thar in the mountains.
Because the
When it comes to
horsepower is
steep
very
slopes,
even I was reading that at
it has,
4000 rpm
it
you
has
get
lower
the
torque. Yeah,
yeah, it has low
yeah, it has a
torque.
lower torque. It has, yeah, it is. I mean, when you have an off-roader, you would expect it to have high torques, right?
Right.
Because you want to go on a steep slope. In Jimny, what will happen? You'll have to reverse your car, gain some momentum, then climb that.
Yes, exactly. Does not make any
Right. So
difference.
why buy a Jimny? It does not make any difference.
Right.
So it's actually gone wrong on many fronts. No,
Hmm.
I mean, okay, that we have done enough burai of this poor vehicle, but I think let's discuss how they can make a comeback and what they can do to
If they
win
want
the
to
battle
make a
against Thar.
comeback as per what they are right now, I think they should first
Yeah.
cut some prices and
See, let's not
because
forget
as an
Thar
Indian
is
consumer,
giving Jeep the run for its money. Let's not forget Thar is giving Jeep the run for its money, which is the original. And
right,
I wouldn't take that away from Mahindra because both Jeep and Mahindra they bought the licenses from Willys separately. Mahindra bought it for India and Jeep bought it for the entire world. So, but still, Jeep, which is more popular around the world, Thar is giving competition to Jeep in the USA. Jeep had to put a case on them to stop them selling
right.
Thar on the roads. So they sell it as a side by side in America. It's called Roxor. Thar is called Roxor in America, and people Americans prefer it over Jeep. I mean, Americans are more sentimental about their own brands. So Thar is actually a very very strong contender in the market.
Right.
So what does the Jimny do now? What do you think, Anmol? First is the price. Okay, they can come with a
First is the
lower
price, then
category.
second is
So
they need
what does?
to make the car a bit wider because now the Indians audience, if you and I
Uh,
we want to buy a car, considering how our bodies are right now, how we prefer as Indians, when I go on a road, I want if I am
right,
sitting in an SUV, people should see me. I am sitting in an SUV, not they saying ये क्या बच्चा ले आया है." मुझे वो नहीं सुनना if I see
right,
मैं गाड़ी में आग लगा दूंगा. So they
right.
should focus
I would
on.
say like they could simply discontinue this model and they could bring back Gypsy. At least they could
Yes.
sell it for the sentimental value of Gypsy.
Right.
Gypsy is still, I mean, a very good vehicle. I mean, the design is evergreen.
Right.
It's still doing well
Yeah,
in
Gypsy is still
the defense
right,
sector.
right,
They can simply start making a civilian version of Gypsy.
right. If I still see any army personnel, roaming here and there in Egypt, I still see, oh my god, what a car. But when I see
Yeah.
Jimny on road,
Exactly.
यार ये क्या है ये? मैं अर्टिगा में
यहाँ
ऊपर
पे
देख रहा
सेम ना, यहाँ पे सेम सेम जो साइकोलॉजी है वही रॉयल एनफील्ड वाली साइकोलॉजी है.
हूँ.
Mahindra Thar has the same psychology. So Gypsy couldn't cash in on that psychology. Here,
Right.
people want legacy. People
Exactly.
want legacy. They want the nostalgia. Like, if I am sitting in this vehicle, I should look like my dad, or I should look like my
Exactly.
uncle who was in the army, and I used to admire him. He was a badass. He used to go off-roading. I remember going for a shikar with him. Right, right. That kind
Right.
of romance you have with these kind of cars. And these guys come with a an off-roader with whose wheels look like a scooter's. What do you
Only thing I
expect
will add
that?
about, when you buy a Jimny, and let's say in India, if modification was legal, you could make it look like a G wagon. I explored this option when we were looking for Jimny.
You
You could,
could well that option was killed somewhere in 2017. I guess
yes,
I think we had discussed about it. No, the
yes, we have
modification of
discussed
vehicles
about it.
has been
If that was
banned everywhere.
possible, then many buyers would have gone for Jimny and then made it G wagon, the desi version of G wagon. Then it would have, I
They
think,
could,
worked very well.
yeah, yeah. But then again, Lilliput G wagon. People will start making
Yeah,
fun of
Lilip
you.
G wagon.
G wagon is a monster.
Yeah, G wagon is a total monster, and then you bring in front of this, it would look like a baby.
Not even baby. All right, enough of making fun of Jimny. Like maybe Maruti Suzuki will put a case on us. So let's wrap
No
this
offense,
up
but no offense.
with your
Jimny is a good car.
conclusion on this.
Those
It
people
is
who
a
would
good car.
like
It is a good
to,
off-roader.
it is a good off-roader. Those people who do not want too much out of an SUV, they just want to drive, they just want to, enjoy the feel. It's good. It's a good car for them, but not if you are going for very serious off-roading or very serious road presence. If you don't have those two characteristics looking for, then
Right.
you can go for Jimny. Jimny is a good one then.
And
Then I think
what is
Ashwin.
your take on it as a marketing perspective? Give one some
So,
pointers
from a
out here what
marketing
they could have
perspective,
done.
the core thing that I think Jimny lost is overpricing. The Maruti Suzuki R&D team couldn't exactly find what price point they should be putting the car on. Then, second thing is that they didn't connect it with Indian sentiments. And for us as Indians, when we buy an off-roader, when we buy an SUV, we want it to be connected to our hearts
So
and soul. I
basically, the
will say, not
market
just
researcher and
money. Yeah, because when you buy a vehicle like this, it's
they
not about
actually
the money.
overlooked everything that was in front of them.
Exactly. Yeah. So marketers, you need to focus on target
All
audience, you
right,
need to focus on the price point and the core four principles P's of marketing. If you don't know the four P's of marketing, I will put the link in the
and let's
description.
not
Go and
forget the
read that first.
quadrant.
Yes, it's a quadrant. Once you get that right, you cannot,
Right,
no one can beat you. Trust me. Once you get that right.
right.
So for our audience, I think we have pretty much covered everything. Ashwin, you would like to add anything
Yes.
or
No,
yes,
I mean, Jimny lovers, please don't hit us.
yes,
We still love Thar more, and we love old Gypsy more. But you can put your views in the comments. Give some constructive feedback in the comments, and let us know how we can make our podcast better. So we'll see you
yes.
in episode number 26 very soon,
Thank
next
you so
week.
much for watching in. For our audience, next episode is going to be about a bit more into this topic, and we will be getting back soon. Thank you so much for watching.
Yep. Bye bye.